Good morning, my friends. How are you? So, I am here getting a little closer to getting my studio done, right? And how do you like my new bookcase? Woo, woo. So, can you tell by the fact that it is done that my husband is back in town? So, if you look at the bottom part, so the first, like right when it comes to go into the octagons, that's how far I got after working on it probably about 15 hours last week. And then I just said, you know what, this is not a good use of my time. It's time for you to work. And when Danny gets home, you guys can figure that out. So anyway, so this is what it looks like for right now. It's not going to stay there because it's not the right setting. And I have to figure out, where to put it to be the best use of the space in here. But I just was excited. And I wanted to share with you one little part of the story. So you see those octagons. One of those octagons was missing one of the sides. And I did not notice. I thought that it was coming from somewhere else or whatever. I picked up the box. I actually had the box to burn or to throw into the dumpster or trash or whatever in my car for about a week. And so yesterday we had a fire going at the house, and I said to Danny, I got to burn this box. And he goes, you know what? We're leaving. That box could start leaves on fire. So let's just leave it in the garage. I'm like, okay. So we left and did our errands. We came here to put it together. And don't you know, I was missing that piece. And thankfully, the box was still in the garage. So we were able to go back and get the piece of it. And we all lived happily ever after. Oh my gosh. So I thought about that for a minute and I was like, I feel so lucky. And you know how so many times I'm like, oh my God, such shit luck. This is just not what I was looking for. And we're so bummed out and whatever. So I just thought it was funny. Like I felt so lucky. First, I felt lucky that, and honestly, it took my husband, I don't know, less than an hour to get the whole rest of it put together and fix all of my screws that were like in there, but not all the way in. So I thought this would be kind of neat. I don't know what I'm going to put on there. I just threw some of the stuff that was in on the other bookcase from our other setup on there. And some of them are my awards in the elephant from Tracy and the realtor are that Heather makes. And those are for sale if you want, by the way, all my realtor friends. Anyway, I don't know. But I just wanted to show you the progress because I feel like you've been in this with me and the whole idea of cleaning out everything and getting there. So we are getting there. That's the best I can say. We are getting there. We obviously are not there. I don't know where to put stuff. You see, I'm not going to point out all the stuff I have that's everywhere. How was your weekend? I had a most amazing fun time teaching the RISE program. I taught it to the Boldies. So that's the bold real estate agents so the newer agents and some of the agents coming back. And actually Patty, who's the co-owner with me, and Tracy, who's the office manager, they were there with me, and some newbies and some people who are taking Agent Rising were there. Interesting. I have to tell you, like that just really, there were, I think 12 people signed up and 9 people came. And 2 of the people that did not come had COVID. And, maybe, I think they're both okay. But I just thought that was just really stunning. Out of 12 people, 2 of them had COVID. So anyway, oh God, that shook me a little. And anyway, so I just wanted to share that. But that's not what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about everything today because it's just, I'm fired up and I hope that you are fired up also because this is a stretch, right? From now until the end of the year, we have turned that corner into like, I don't know, crazy town, I guess. So what I want to talk about is, in September and October, we were trying to get together to do and you see this table's bouncing. I gotta remember that. Table is not a good table for videoing if I'm going to be leaning on it. We were talking about doing like a year-end review and preparing so in September, I'm like, there's still time, right? So there was still time for us to get together and kind of analyze where we were for the year. And if we were missing any of our numbers and goals, we had time to finish on it. And then October came, and that's when we had planned the getting together, and we did not do it. So we missed that minute of time. And now we're in a spot that is like crunch time. Any of the work we're doing from now until the end of the year, most likely is going to be a transaction for 2022. Okay. So right now, all of the legwork you're doing is filling your pipeline in your funnel and your resources you're setting your seeds, right? So if we go by Jim Rohn seasons, right now is a planting season for you. Planting all of the things so that when January comes, by the way, January is the #1 search month on Google. So we think of January as people are regrouping or whatever. People are still in that I want to do it now if it's at all possible mode. Okay. So where are we in November? We're in November. It's Thanksgiving this week. My kids are home. I've already just enjoyed the heck out of being with them. I already in my brain have transitioned out of planting new seeds. Okay. But it's a very timely time. It's the time that we are going to how we do our job in the next 5 weeks is going to impact greatly 2022. Number one, right? So we want to start 2022 on the ground running. And I would love to actually, we have a, excuse me, we have an advanced rise coming up, which is where we take it to the internet and we take it from a magic paper tracker and planner into an online one and being hot, which means it's editable from anywhere. So that is December 5th. So 2 weeks from now. And I'll talk about that more, not today. Okay. So we are already setting into stage like our behaviors and our rituals and getting our rituals ready. What I want to talk about today is our rituals this week. So, my rituals have taken a beating. First, I went to San Diego, and of course, I was following the conference schedule, and everything kind of shifted gradually each day. I slept in a little bit later, right? And because we were staying out later, quite honestly. And so and also I wasn't doing a lot of my rituals because I was at a conference, right? So I was doing different things. So I get back and I come to my house and there's nobody there but me. Remember, one of my daughters stayed with me a couple nights, but basically nobody was there but me. And so I was in this stage where I didn't have to get Danny out of the house in the morning. So no breakfast had to be made, no lunches had to be made, no, organizing through him, getting the dogs out, getting the dogs in, that whole bit. So my schedule kind of went down, right? I think I missed one of our days. I think I threw up an image and I just didn't get to it. So already my rituals are off the beam. I hurt my hip when I was at the conference. So my hip has been bothering me. So my exercise has gone down. So now we see the storm, right? So not getting up and doing my workouts in the morning because number one, I'm just not getting up. And number two is my hip hurts. And which means, by the way, not for nothing, but I really need to be doing the yoga if I have an ache, right? Because whatever's there, whatever's inflamed or whatever needs, whatever's wrong needs some energy to it. So it's the really wrong time to not be doing yoga. Anyway, so I kind of get off my beam again last week. So off my beam, double off my beam. And now we're hitting Thanksgiving. And I made turkey dinner last night because I was at the store yesterday getting supplies for the week and the turkeys were on sale. So of course I like hook and sinker. So as I was making dinner last night, I was like, all right, so this is a week to really watch your eating because we're going to go into that spiral of eating lots of things. So eating for me means number one is, watching my weight. But number two is inflammation, which is why I think my hip is hurting. Number three is that energy levels. Okay. So when I'm eating poorly and I'm not eating for fuel, my energy levels go off. And, sugar is awful for inattention. So eating for me is just a bad, like eating not healthy for me is a really bad thing. And yet I'm in the mode, right? I'm like fired up to eat whatever I feel like it. So anyway, now I'm not a drinker, but those who are drinking, if you're drinking more, you got to remember that that's calories, that's bringing down your optimization. That is something that's also to be considered. So the reason I'm talking about this is because I'm like, all right, so it's one thing to out yourself, Kate, and tell everybody you're off your beam for whatever reason. But the other thing is saying, all right, so the next 5 weeks are going to be really hard to be on your beam, but yet they're so critical. So how can we adjust and come up with a modified, I don't know, let's call it holiday ritual. So maybe because we're up later, we're going to be sleeping in a little later. We need to be doing some more planting of the seeds versus manifesting the seeds and sowing the seeds. We've totally got, transactions to close out through the end of the year, so we can't stop those things. But what if we became really mindful of our like holiday schedule and really thought about how to get through this with the most enjoyment, right? Because really, honestly, that is, I think, why we go off, like we get off so much, is because my sister's having a party on Wednesday night, and I would love to, and I'm loving to see those people. I'm loving my kids being home. I want to be with them. I don't want to be working with a laptop on my lap while they're in front of me. So how do we transition and prepare ourselves for a holiday ritual session? Okay. And I don't know the answer. I don't have something for you. I don't have a worksheet today. I might work on one for tomorrow. Today is investigate day. So I want you to really just take some time to think about that. Are you making pies? Are you doing? So, I mean, what we should be doing for our work is we should be doing Popeye gifts, right? We should be stopping at people's houses, bringing them a bread or a pie or a turkey pie. Or I think last year I did turkey pot pies. And I just was remembering a little flashback of that when my carrots weren't as cooked as the rest of the stuff. And someone told me my carrots were hard as rock. At least they knew it was homemade. Anyways, like for example, Maggie, who does this video with us every day, I had delivered to me on Friday some beautiful custom made thank you cards, right? Note cards to send out, and with a little gift and a nice little personal note. She's on her beam. She's on her game. Okay. So we should be doing things like that this week and next week, like in this time, right? This is really how, if we have energy, that's where it should be going. Anyways, I've already just given you way too many things to even be at all helpful in your decision making on what you're doing. So tomorrow is touch, right? So let's talk about ways to touch. Let's touch our family. Let's touch our sphere of influence. Let's touch our rituals worksheet to just get through these holidays and figure out how to maximize our time, get everything done that we need to get done. And actually, let's loop January in there also, okay? So that we're ready this time for tax season, and we get out our closing disclosures to people, and we do all those kinds of things that we want to do. All right? So this was a little bit crazy today. I was like all over the place, so I'm sorry about that. I'd love to hear what you have in your schedule. I'm actually going to check comments to see what you have for coping mechanisms in your day. Okay. So let me just pop it up. And I see no comments. So, and I see no comments on that. So what we're going to do is, what you're going to do is let me know what works for your day, right? And what are you doing to get through these holidays? And how are you, what kinds of structures, right? Assist, support do you have to help you through this? Because maybe we can all learn from that. All right, so I'm going to finish by just putting my little beautiful bookcase for you all to see. By the way, at the last minute, I went from a white one to a red one. Mistake, or do you love it? All right, let me know. I'll talk with you all soon.